top 10 best places to visit in Europe. When people go to Europe in the summer, they don't have to bundle up to see the country's best sights. This is the best time of year to walk down charming streets full of history, eat delicious food, and immerse yourself in a culture so exciting and varied that you'll want to keep traveling from country to country. So do you wish to visit one someday? Stay tuned until the video and let us all watch these top 10 best places to visit in Europe. But before tuning in, we would love it if you would click the like button, subscribe to our channel, and tap the notification bell for more updates and videos like this one. You want to take a trip to Europe, but you don't know where to start. Even though Europe is small, there are almost 50 countries to choose from. There are so many places in Europe, it's hard to know where to start when planning a trip there. We've seen many continents and have rounded up our favorite European destinations to spark your creative juices. So, let's plan that European vacation to celebrate traveling again soon. Here are the top 10 best places to visit in Europe. Number 10. Gassadalur, Faroe Islands. The Gassadalur waterfall, also called the Emlafjörður waterfall, is one of nature's best-kept secrets. The beautiful waterfall is in a remote part of the Faroe Islands near only the small village of Gassadalur. It falls over a cliff edge where seabirds live. One of the most beautiful waterfalls in Europe can be found here. If you see the Emlafjörður waterfall, you can call yourself a real adventurer. It is so far away from the rest of the world that few people have been there. You'll be one of the few people who can put photos on the internet. Number 9. Hallstatt Village, Austria. The Hallstatt village in Austria is right next to Lake Hallstatt. Since rough mountains surround it, it is easier to get there by boat than by car. The colorful alpine houses and cobblestone streets of the village look like they haven't changed much since the 1600s. When you go to Hallstatt village, it's like going to a place where time stopped. If you've ever thought about what it would be like to go back in a few hundred years, you'll find out here. Number 8. Keizerskratsch, Amsterdam, the Netherlands. The widest canal in Amsterdam is the Keizerskratsch, also called the Emperor's Canal. The canal is more than 100 feet wide and is surrounded by buildings at least 500 years old. Some of these buildings have been turned into luxury apartments, but their original facades are still there. There are canals all over Amsterdam. If you're going to go out of your way to see one, make it the biggest. When it's frozen over in the winter, you can skate down it instead of taking a canal barge. Number 7. Vernazza, Cinque Terre, Italy. Only Vernazza, one of the 5 Italian towns that make up the Cinque Terre UNESCO site, has a harbor. The colorful houses in the fishing village without cars are a big draw for photographers. Floods and mudslides have caused a lot of damage to Vernazza. See it before it happens again and destroys the town so badly that it can't be fixed. If that isn't enough to convince you, they also make a delicious wine called Vernaxia. Do you need more convincing to go? Number 6. Oia, Santorini, Greece. On the coast of the Greek island of Santorini, there is a village called Oia. It is built in a volcanic caldera. Its houses are painted bright white and blue, making them look brand new. However, the settlement has been around since the beginning of the 11th century. Most of Greece's monuments are either in ruins or in the process of falling apart. Oia is a rare place in Greece because it is kept clean and perfect. If you go there, you'll see Greece at its best. Number 5. Neuschwanstein Castle, SW Bavaria, Germany. In SW Bavaria, the impressive Neuschwanstein Castle sits on a hill and looks out over the Hohenschwangau Valley. It is one of Germany's best castles. When it was built as a king's playhouse in the middle to late 1800s, its plumbing and heating systems were a big step forward. Because it has so many towers on the outside, Neuschwanstein Castle is often called the Fairytale Castle. A question that still needs to be answered is whether it was based on a fairy tale or whether it was based on fairy tales. Visit the castle to see if you can find a key piece of information in the mystery story that never ends. Number 4. Eiffel Tower, Paris, France. The Eiffel Tower does stand tall over Paris, which is the capital of France. The metal building is the tallest in the city, standing at a dizzying 1,000 feet. It took 2 years to build, and it opened just in time for the World Fair in 1889. The Eiffel Tower is one of the most well-known landmarks in the world. The view of Paris from the observation platform is something everyone should see before they die. Number 3. Seljalandsfoss Waterfall, Iceland. Seljalandsfoss Waterfall is one of the most beautiful waterfalls in Iceland. The water comes from a glacier melting, and it rushes over the cliff and drops a stunning 200 feet before going on its way. There is a cave behind the Seljalandsfoss waterfall, a fast-moving stream of water. You can walk to the cave, which gives you a unique way to see the waterfall in all its power and take some great pictures, including rainbows. Nowhere else in Europe can you do that. Number 2. The Azores. With the possible exception of Iceland, nowhere in Europe has as much geological drama as the Azores. These densely forested islands are like the Hawaii of the mid-Atlantic, with cliffs that seem to rise out of nowhere like giant green knees from a primordial bath. The archipelago is about 950 miles from the coast of its parent country, Portugal. It has volcanic craters, sulfurous hot springs, whales that jump out of the water, and surf breaks with epic stacks in the background. The group of islands with biospheres and marine reserves has also been a quiet leader in sustainable tourism, like the Costa Rica of Europe. Fale, Pico, and São Jorge can be reached by ferry or small plane, but most of the action is on São Miguel, which has a lot of good places to stay. The classic doubleheader is to spend a few nights at each of 2 sister hotels. The Azure, with its clean mod boutique lines and rooftop pool overlooking the harbor and the main town of Ponta Delgada, and the Furnas Boutique Hotel, where the black stone, Japanese-style thermal pool is the star of the show. The Convento de São Francisco is a 10-room boutique hotel in a 17th-century convent. Vila Franca do Campo is a popular place for whale watching and diving, about a half-drive hours down the south coast from Ponta Delgada. The Sete Cidades Lake Lodge, a group of wooden cabins on a lake where you can rent canoes in the wild northwest, and the Santa Barbara Eco Beach Resort, a place with low-slung concrete modernism that looks out over a long surf beach on the north coast, are also great places to visit. By necessity, all of the food is local. This includes the famous cheeses of the islands, rare but tasty fish like wreckfish and bluemouth rockfish, and cozido das Furnas, a 7-meat stew slow-cooked in the volcanic earth of Furnas. Number 1. Dubrovnik and its surrounds, Croatia. Dubrovnik may be overrun with Game of Thrones tourists, but this Adriatic limestone citadel has always had a certain allure. What's often overlooked is how great it is as a starting point for a proper adventure. To the south, it's less than an hour's drive past the sleepy harbor towns of the Dubrovnik Riviera to Montenegro, a country rediscovering its post-war mojo, particularly with the upcoming arrival of a biophilic modernist hotel from Janu, Aman's new younger sister brand. Mostar, a beautiful Bosnian town of fairy-lit millhouse restaurants and Ottoman stone bridges, is less than 3 hours to the north, with a swimmable turquoise lagoon surrounded by Niagara-like falls. It took Americans a few years to do the grand tour of Europe in the past. They were on the right track. To see and do everything that Europe offers, you need a lot of time. Most of us only get a few weeks off each year, so we have to pick and choose what we'll do. Since there are so many great places to visit in Europe, we can narrow down the list by region or by type of place. Since it only takes a few hours to get to Europe now, we can always go back to see new things while it took our ancestors weeks. So if you had the chance to visit these places, what would it be and why? Let me know your thoughts and comment down below.